Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out. It only takes a couple seconds and I really appreciate it. Okay. 20-year-old Susan Whiting was one of four siblings who was adopted by Maureen Whiting in 1998. And even though she had several learning disabilities, she's described as an easygoing, loving young lady enjoying her life. 36-year-old Julie Beards was married to 34-year-old Stephen Beards. She also had special needs and would end up meeting and befriending Julie at a local adult community center. Sunday, August 16th, 2015. Julie and Susan had been friends for about 2 years at this point. And that night, Susan's mom drops her off at Julie's house for a sleepover and tea, which the girls had done several times in the past, so it wasn't a big deal. It's been alleged in court papers, though, that Stephen had an infatuation with Susan, and that was not reciprocated. Susan was not sexually active, and the attempts done by Stephen to hook up with her were unwelcomed and creepy in Susan's eyes. So, since Susan was not interested in giving Stephen Beards what he wanted, he decided that he would just take it from her. That night, he cooks Susan and Julie dinner, and then he laces Susan's mashed potatoes and gravy with at least one type of sedative. Susan would soon become very sleepy, which was Stephen and Julie's cue to strike. They bound Susan's hands and then they removed her pajama pants with scissors, and then they bound Susan's hands and they removed her pajama pants with scissors. Then Stephen began to forcibly R-word her. So much so that he actually tore her vagina. The coroner also said that there were injuries to Susan's mouth, which was consistent with force being used on the lips and mouth. So I'm guessing that's probably like oral. Being forced to give oral. I don't know if I'm right. That's what I'm thinking. After Stephen was done with his sick and twisted actions, he first attempted to break her neck. Okay. It's going to get a little difficult to hear. Let me just tell you that real quick. Then he bashed her head in with a hammer, which caused sufficient fractures to her skull and caused damage to the underlying brain tissue. Oh my God. When Susan's mother, Maureen, went to pick her up the following morning, she was told by the couple that Susan had already left.
Pretty quiet round here. Normally don't normally get things like this. It is a tragedy, yeah. Well, I wasn't around yesterday, as I said. I had texted what's going on your street. Didn't know, and found my husband up, and he said, I don't know, there's police asking about that young girl's missing, because I did sort of share that young girl was missing on Facebook, and then I come home to all these.
Yeah.
Is that the police? The police were around.
Oh, they're around there now, yeah. They got the big tent up. We saw them put that up. We saw them put the ribbons round, you know. But I think it's terrible. I've had a shock, I have. Shock of my life.
She must have known. Mom must have known. Because from there, she goes right to the police and a search for Susan begins. She would eventually be found under a bed in the Beards' home. She had plastic wrap over her She had a plastic bag over her head, no pants on, and she's wrapped in a shower curtain. No clear motive has ever been given, but the evidence but because of the evidence, it is strongly believed to be sexually motivated. It has also been alleged, though, that Julie was getting upset because Susan had other friends and she felt like her friendship with Susan was beginning to cool.
This is the crime scene which has shaken the town of Bloxwich. Detectives have been scouring a home on Heather Close since they discovered a body yesterday. I'm here on Moorland Road, where only a sealed-off footpath separates me from the crime scene on Heather Close. This morning, a 34-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman who live at the home on Heather Close were arrested on suspicion of murder. The body, which was found yesterday, is believed to be that of the missing Susan Whiting from Walsall, who hasn't been seen since Monday. The body is yet to be formally identified and a post-mortem examination will follow imminently to establish the cause of death. Miss Whiting had been staying at a friend's house on Heather Close on Sunday night. Her mother was waiting to pick her up at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, only to be told that she had already left. When Susan didn't return home on Station Street by lunchtime, her family phoned the police. She was a student at the Horbush Centre at Walsall Adulton Community College.
We have a bistro in the college, and Susan she got her part of her work experience in the bistro, and at the beginning of the week when we'd had a missing persons notification come through with Susan's photograph, we all instantaneously recognised her as the cheery one on the till that kept us, served us and looked after us, really. It was quite clearly we're a small college, and we're a tight community. We know all our students, our staff know all our students, etc. So we're a tight community, and clearly we felt concerned because we hadn't seen the students for maybe 4 or 5 weeks because it's the summer vacation. So obviously, our hearts sank really because we concern ourselves with our student body, whether they're in college or not. So that was a sentiment that was replicated throughout the individuals that saw the photograph.
For an area that is accustomed to the quiet life, residents have been left shocked by the scenes just outside their front door.
Along with this, Beards has a history of violence during sex. He would get sexual gratification from inflicting violence upon vulnerable women during sex. He has no concerns about whether it's reciprocated. He has even R-worded his wife and would her during sex. Oh my God. He's also tried to drug his wife, Julie, and tie her to a bed in the past. It's unclear if the decision to murder Susan was decided before the attack or if during the attack Susan began to come to and began to realize what was going on. And since they knew that she would probably tell on them, then that's when they decided to do it. That's just not clear. They don't know. When police spoke to Stephen, he claimed that he wasn't even at the home that night. That would become debunked quickly, though, when Stephen's sperm was found inside of her. Hanging out of that one, buddy. Oh, I'll tell you how he thinks he's going to get out of that one. He says, I don't know how it got there. Oh my God. And denied that it was his, even though there is a 1 in a billion chance that it belongs to some stranger that he claims walked into the home and committed these acts. Because that's what he's trying to say. That it was a stranger that walked into his home and did this to her. I'm pretty sure that's better odds than like winning the Mega Millions. He went on to tell police that when the stranger was done, he found Stephen's sperm in a tiny container in the kitchen. Because who the fuck doesn't leave sperm in a bottle in the kitchen? Don't we all do that? Guys, do you do that? Don't you leave sperm in a bottle in your kitchen? No, maybe he keeps it there for if he runs out of salt or something. I don't know, but it's weird that he would even begin to think that he could get away with this. Idiot. Come on. During opening statements, the prosecution tells the jury about a recorded conversation that the couple had while being taken down to the police station, and they were unaware that they were being recorded. So Stephen says to his wife, I need to stay out and look after the house. You'll get a lighter sentence, all right. I'll come and visit you, and I'll keep sending you money. Just say it was an accident and you lost your temper. You know what I mean? Can you do that for me, babe? No. To which Julie replies, don't start. I haven't done anything wrong. To which Stephen says, you're as involved as I am. I'm going to spend the rest of my life behind bars. I've done what you've asked me to do. Julie knew the effects that flipping this to Susan would have because, ready? She's done this before. She experimented on a friend of hers, to which she slips it into his coffee and then she watches him fall into a deep sleep. Unreal. Stephen Beards was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 33 years. Susan's mother, Maureen, said in her victim impact statement, quote, my youngest Susan was a precious gift to me, my closest companion. We spent a considerable amount of time together. Susan was even my volunteer at an after-school club where we all miss her. My world has been turned upside down. I have always sought to protect my family, especially as they are vulnerable. I would always take them and collect them. I feel terrible guilt that I failed to protect Susan, and a strong sense of betrayal that Susan was killed by people she knew and trusted. End quote. I hate when parents say that because you didn't fail her. You never could have known. I don't know. It just bothers me. I don't know. I don't know why. It just bothers me. I feel bad. Like if I step on my kid's foot, I feel terrible. So I can't even imagine how guilt like that, what that must do to someone. Anyway, if you guys are still here, thank you. I appreciate you so very much. Please leave me a like. Please leave me a comment. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And until next time, stay safe out there.